Having a high sensitivity, this allows a maximum SPL of 132 dB. But much more important than these figures, the ZX4 comes with a large format, kind of, electro voice high frequency horn. And the reason why a big horn is important, and you just heard it before, it's the size of the horn that determines the control pattern. The bigger the horn size, the lower it can control, and the lower the control frequency, the better the behavior of the speaker in a venue. So ZX4, it's a 90 by 50, and the pattern control starts right below 1000 kilohertz. So most part, not everything, but a good portion of the vocal range is under the pattern control of the speaker. ZX4, just straight on a pole with a straight amplifier, is a perfect main system for musical application, DJs, all people that want a lightweight, high-performance speaker system. Okay, few more features of the ZX4 so far. It comes with a built-in monitor angle, so straight on the stage you got 45 degree. Now, if you got a shorter stage and you need a steeper angle, no problem. The built-in monitor feed, the flip feed, you just turn around and you got 55 degree. So no extra accessory or whatever, already built in the speaker. Straight back, 2 NL4 connectors and attachment points for brackets and other accessories. This was actually the picture of the ad campaign when we launched a few years ago the ZX5, which could be considered the big brother of the ZX4. And the statement on this ad, I think, is very true. Lonely when it comes to competition. So you see the ZX5 sharing actually the same enclosure as the ZX4. Comes with a full-face front grille, but has completely different transducers, different design, and much more versions. ZX5 offers a unique combination of audio performance, versatility, aesthetics, and of course everything in a lightweight package. There is no such thing on the market that would be able to compete in all of these points together. There might be products that compete on individual items. None has all that combination. ZX5 has a 600 watt power rating, and there's 2 versions, a 60 by 60 and a 90 by 50. So 2 horn patterns already to select. And the whole thing is just 22 kilograms, which is for a high-powered 15 two-way on the very light side. Now, key portion of the ZX5, with the launch of the ZX5, we also launched the first woofer of a whole new generation based on completely new components, DVX. And in the ZX5 we use one model of the DVX line, the 3150, and also we use a brand new compression driver, neodymium, the ND2 DVX. This is actually, as I said, the first came with the ZX5, but I want to use this opportunity here to give you a little bit insight into the detail of electro voice transducer design, as this is kind of the transducers for the speakers. This is like what the engine is for the car, the motors, so to speak. So this is really core technology, and this is what we use to drive the level of performance ahead and ahead and ahead. So what are transducer design goals? Basically, you want from a transducer that it can play at a high SPL, but also fulfills very high sonic quality aspects. So, in order to achieve high SPL, you need a high efficiency and a high power handling. But on the quality side, you want a wide bandwidth and low distortion. Now, unfortunately, when you look into the parameters to achieve these things, they are exactly an opposite. So we are facing the same issues as people that making car tires, where on one side you want the tire to be very, very sticky on the road and not slippery. But on the other hand, you want a long mileage on this thing to run for 100,000 kilometers, which means you have a very hard tire. It's the same thing what we have to do with the transducers. You want a very loud transducer on the one side, very high efficient, high power handling, but you want low distortion. And you also want wide frequency range. And all these things, unfortunately, are contradicting each other. So transducer design is a very, very careful balance of all these parameters. Or in other words, from these 4 design goals, to achieve 1 is very easy. To achieve 2, still doable. 3 is what most people that are leading in transducer design are usually capable of combining. If you are able to combine all the 4, then you're really good and most likely work for EV. Now, reason why sensitivity is important. Here's one example. Transducer with a power handling of 1000 watt and a transducer with a power handling of 600 watt. One has a sensitivity of 95 dB, and the other one, the 1000 watt power handling, which you would say, oh, that's the much bigger woofer, isn't it? 1000 watts versus 600. But therefore, it only has 90 dB sensitivity. So the total SPL they can play, you see that the only 600 watt woofer is 3 dB louder because of the higher sensitivity. So power handling alone doesn't help you. So very critical portion here is the motor design, the drive, so to speak, for the woofer. Now, designing and making state-of-the-art equipment also requires that your engineering team that is doing that is state-of-the-art and leading in the field of the tools that they are using. And even if something like a finite element analysis has no meaning to somebody outside the speaker world, so poor Tommy doesn't have to translate it because he doesn't know what it is. I'll brought some pictures to show you, to give you an idea, how our engineers are working. What you will see in a second when I click the movie, this is a cut through a motor structure of a woofer, and this is a conventional design. And what we will see is actually a dynamic finite element analysis. It's a simulation of this motor structure. What happens when a single kick drum hit, just one hit on a kick drum, gets to this woofer at, and this is the important point, 100 volts. So very high voltage, and this is really the important part. At low levels, that won't be an issue, but what happens at high voltage, high power levels? And because a hit of a kick drum is only 20 milliseconds, this is now in slow motion. So as you see the voice coil going up and down in the gap, you also notice that the color changed pretty dramatically. So what this is showing us actually is that because it is a very high voltage,